Hello, it's Jeanette with Amazing Paper Crafts. Thank you once again for joining me for another video tutorial. Today I have another little sweet treat box, and I'm calling this my Dozen Dove Double Fold Box. And I gotta tell you, I'm casing. Casing means copy and share everything. But I am casing this design from a video that I saw a day or so ago from Dawn Griffin, and she made her box a little bit bigger. Okay, same concept with the fold, but she called hers a split top gift box. And I'm calling mine a double fold. And the reason I'm calling it a Dozen Dove double fold box is because inside this box with the split top or double fold, I have a dozen Dove candy bars, or these are actually the Dove Promises. Okay, so I am going to show you how I put this box together. In Dawn's video, by the way, she is one of my favorite YouTube stars, and she's a Stampin' Up demonstrator too. So what she did was she made 3 separate pieces and she hinged them together using washi tape, which is a very clever design. But what I did was this is all one piece here, okay? I designed this a little, of course, smaller, but I designed it so that you wouldn't have to use any hinges on it, okay? It's kind of self-hinging here. And a little bit of a little added something on the inside, but I'll show you. Okay, so, of course, I'm going to be making a different color. But what I'm using here is the Sahara Sand for the cardstock for the box, and I'm also using some DSP called Blooms and Bliss, and this one has a lot of light, really pretty purpley colors in there, rich raspberry and the new sugar, sweet sugar plum, and Blushing Bride, I believe. It's just really pretty. The whole stack is absolutely gorgeous. But I'm going to be using another paper from this stack, okay? So I'm going to just put this aside and talk about how to put the box together. So this piece measures 4 and a quarter, not 4 and a half, 4 and a quarter by 8 and a half. Okay, so that means you could just take a piece of regular 8.5 by 11 and cut it long ways, and then you would get two boxes out of one sheet. But you are going to need a little bit of extra, so I'm using some scrap pieces, and these measure 1 inch by 4 and a quarter, and you're going to need 2 that measure 1 inch by 4 and a quarter. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored scoreboard. Okay, trying not to have a glare here for you, but I want you to see the numbers. Now, what I'm going to do is take my scoring tool, and you are going to be scoring on the long side at 7/8 of an inch. Okay, right here, 7/8 of an inch, and then 2 3/4 of an inch, and then 3 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and now you're going to turn it around and do the same thing. 7/8, 2 3/4, and 3 3/4. And then you're going to, on the short side of the paper, you're going to score it at 1 inch. Okay, and then you're going to turn it around and score it at 1 inch. Okay, now for those little pieces of strips that you have, let me make sure I'm still in camera here, you're going to score it at 1 inch and then turn it around and score it at 1 inch, and you're going to do that on both of these. Okay, 1 inch, turn it around, and 1 inch. Okay, now I didn't tell you the measurement of my box, and I'll do that right now. I'm done with my scoreboard. Okay, this box measures 3.5 inches by 2 1/4 inches by 1 inch deep. Okay, and that's how much you're going to need, the depth you're going to need for 2 layers of Dove chocolate. If you're going to put Dove in here, you can put anything in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and burnish and score, fold and burnish all of our score lines. And I'm going to do that with the bone folder. Okay, everything burnished. All right, now I'm not going to use these just yet, but I'm going to be cutting some pieces or cutting up some score lines here. And so the ones that you're going to be cutting are, oh, let's see, no, we're doing it this way. I almost made a mistake. Yes, okay, we're going to cut from the, on both sides. We're going to cut this, and we are going to cut, actually you're going to just make a little bit of an angle piece there, just to kind of wedge it a little bit, and wedge it a little bit on this side too, okay? And you're going to do the same. You're going to cut, and then you're going to wedge in, okay, and then wedge this way. Just cut from this side here. Okay, and then you're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to cut like this and wedge. And pardon me if I'm shaky. I've had a lot of coffee today. Okay, but I shake anyway, even without coffee. Okay, and don't forget to wedge just a little bit on this end, on these end pieces, okay? And now what you're going to do is you're going to be cutting these on the side and wedge into the smaller these smaller panels, okay? So go ahead and cut this here and then wedge that smaller panel, that smaller little square right here. So this is what your box should look like, okay? And now we're going to start gluing things together. And if you want to, you can go ahead and put your DSP on, but I'm going to save that to the end, okay? Because looking at it here, it looks a little confusing as to where you put your designer series paper. But we'll talk about that when we're done adhering everything. So I'm going to turn it over this way. And I'm going to take some fast fuse, or you could use tear and tape if you want to. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tear and tape. Actually, what I need to do is get my silicone craft sheet over here. Okay. And now you're going to think this is a little bit unusual, but I'm folding these inward like this. Okay. Now I do this because I want this edge to be a clean edge. Do you see how nicely that edge is right here? It's a nice clean edge because I did that fold, okay, on the ends. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. And I'm just using some fast fuse, but you can also use SNAIL adhesive if you have it, or tear and tape. Okay, now that I've got that done, now I'm going to turn this up the other way, and I'm going to put adhesive on all of these 4 flaps here, okay? And I am using fast fuse because I do need a strong adhesive. I'm going to do one side at a time, and I'm going to be making the lids by folding this inward here. Now let's move that way, okay? I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm trying to get you right on camera here. I am trying to make this as even as I can on here, all right? And let's fold this in. And make that an even top here. Okay. Now we'll do the same on the other side. I'm going to be putting some fast fuse on these two. This one and this one. Okay. Okay, and then I am going to fold in. But actually, what you can do, because it does overlap, you can trim this down a little bit. I didn't trim the other one, and I can see where I'm kind of overlapping. But if you trim like maybe 1/8 of an inch off of it, then you're not going to, be struggling with it. Let me make sure. Okay. I didn't really want it to overlap. So, like I said, you can trim those down if you want to. You don't have to. Okay. And now you see how that's going to fold like that? With the nice edges. Okay. Now, it's not staying closed because you need a little bit more tension than that to keep it closed. And so that's what I'm going to create with these two. All right. What I'm going to do is I am going to wedge these out on this side and on this side on both of these pieces of paper. Okay. And that is going to go on the bottom. So I'm going to put adhesive here on one side and then the other side. And I'm going to take this. Okay, you notice I have the wedges, the wedged pieces. I'm putting that on the bottom part of the box. But I'm going to take this and I am going to match up the tops where that fold is on this side here. And then I'm going to bring it over and do the same. It's a little tricky, but just kind of show it who's boss. And you're going to fold that over and make sure you're matching perfectly the edge here, right here, so that there's no paper sticking up. Okay, and then your box is going to fold this way. Okay, you see how it's staying closed now? It's because you have a little bit more tension there to keep it closed. All right, now, same thing with this. I'm going to put some adhesive on here and on the other side, and it's very sticky. In fact, sometimes this fast fuse, if you stick your finger in it and try to get your finger off, it'll actually pull the paper with it. So, like I said, it's very, very sticky. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to match this. This flap is going on the outside of the box, and I'm going to match the fold right there to the edge of that box. Okay, like that, and then bring it over. And match this fold to the edge right there. Okay, there you go. And now my box stays closed. Isn't that cool? All right, and so you can fill it up and decorate it any way you want to, but this is how I'm decorating. I am using some designer series paper from that Blooms and Bliss collection, and I need 2 pieces for the top that are just a little bit smaller than the measurement on top on these 2 flaps. And these measure 2 1/8 by 1 3/4, and you need 2 of them. So I'm going to be putting adhesive on here. I'm just going to use SNAIL adhesive. Hopefully I have enough SNAIL on this roll to complete this project. If not, I have a refill. Okay. All right here. Okay. And then for the side pieces, and you're going to need 4 of them, for the side pieces you will cut yours at 7/8 of an inch wide this way and 1 3/4 of an inch this way. Okay, and so there are 4 pieces here. I'm going to turn these upside down and like I say, it's just a little bit smaller than these little rectangles. Okay. And try to get it even. Okay, and I'll turn it around this way. I'll get that little piece off of there. Okay. See, I told you I was going to run out. Okay. SNAIL adhesive. This is what you do. This is the bad stuff. You throw that piece away. And I'm going to bring out, I had it here, waiting in the wings. Okay. And your SNAIL adhesive is going to have this little yellow piece on there. Just take that off, and you are going to put this on like that. Snap it in, and you're good to go. Okay, so where did my piece go? I lost my little piece. I guess I'm going to have to cut another one because it just disappeared. Do you see it anywhere here? Well, we'll do the side pieces. Okay. Oop, we have to open it first. Yep. And let's get it started here. There we go. It's funny. You probably see it on the screen, and I don't see it at all. It didn't go. It didn't make it in the box, so probably fell. Note to self: always have little extra little pieces when you do this. Okay, other side. Here we go. Something's stuck on here. Like I said, this adhesive that I'm using, this fast fuse adhesive, very, very sticky. But I am using the SNAIL here. It's not as bad. So, okay, so I'm just going to show you this side of the box because the other side I'm missing my DSP. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to decorate the top. And now with this one here, what I did was I used the Pansy punch, and I also used the Flower Shop a stamp set, and I stamped this one here and using the Blushing Bride, and then I used the Sweet Sugar Plum ink because there's a lot of Sweet Sugar Plum in this DSP. But this time I didn't stamp. This time I used let me move this out of the way. This time I used the Botanical Builder Framelit dies, and I used this one here. Okay, and I also used this little one here, and I cut two of both so that I could double up and make this little cute little decoration here. Now for the bottom here, I used one of the layering circles that is, let me see what size that is that I used. From this part here, I think these are the smaller of the scallops. I used the third one in. Okay, or that would be the second one from the middle to size it so that I could put it on here. And I'm going to adhere that with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm just going to put two of these on one side. Okay. Now you can decorate your box any way you want to. Put ribbon if you want to. Do a belly band if you want to. Whatever you like. That's what I love about paper crafts. You can just kind of bring out your own individuality in your craft. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to fill it with some more Dove once I go buy some more Dove. And there you go. What do you think? Let me know. I hope you try this, okay? It's very easy to do, and I'm sure you're going to like it, because you can put more than just Dove candies in there. I just sized it so that I could put a dozen Doves in there. So anyway, if you need any of the supplies or the tools that I used in this video, please go to my website and click on the shop button. I usually post all of the part numbers or the item numbers throughout the video, so write them down, go to my website, purchase them from me so I can continue doing this for you guys, because I love paper crafts and I love doing this. I love sharing all of the projects that I make with you. So once again, I'm Jeanette with Geomazing Paper Crafts, and you make it a great day. Bye-bye.